There it is. Okay, there's your severe weather threat. It's actually a really large area, and the storms were, we knew that they were going to be popping up initially down around this area, and that's where we were going to have the highest chance at maybe some bigger hail, but starting to see these storms fill in. So it's going to be the next couple of hours as everything rolls through this boundary where we'll have the chance at some storms that mostly could produce some very big hail. We also could see some damaging wind in them. It's a low-end tornado threat. But a couple of these storms down here around Dallas, even though they produced some hail and some actual reports of hail, quarter-sized and larger, there's been a little rotation in them. Haven't seen anything tornadic yet. We've had no tornado warnings. In fact, we don't even have any tornado watches that are out. It's a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect on the north side of this until 9 o'clock Central, and then down farther toward the south here, including Dallas, until 11 o'clock Central. So yeah, I think it's going to be a long couple of hours here dodging these storms or possibly not dodging them in some cases. Let me get you the rest of the forecast here because we've got another brand new storm system that's coming in tomorrow. So tomorrow I think is going to be a little bit more of a tornado threat than what we're dealing with tonight. This is, again, a brand new storm. The one we're dealing with right now, big piece of upper level energy that's coming through, and then there's going to be a fresh one that rides through the area to the north of there tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of rising air out here. And I think we'll see some supercells that could produce some tornadoes. Now, the Storm Prediction Center has put out this kind of outlook. They are thinking that there is a possibility that whatever storms do pop up could be capable of producing a strong tornado or two, EF2+. I don't want you to read this incorrectly and think, wow, this whole area is going to have a lot of strong tornadoes. That's not the case. In fact, the overall tornado threat, as far as the percentage of coverage of tornado-producing storms, it's not going to be that much. I mean, it's a level 2 risk. You guys have dealt with, level 4s and level 5 risks from time to time down in that part of the country. But this is one of the cool new things with the new Storm Prediction Center outlooks. You can have an overall, low-end severe weather risk, but you can also communicate that, look, we don't think there's going to be a huge amount of storms that form, but the ones that do form could produce a strong tornado or two. It doesn't mean that every storm that forms is going to do that. This is like a ceiling type of thing when it comes to the forecast. So just keep that in mind. We've also got a chance for some big hail tomorrow. So egg-sized hail, 2 inches in diameter or larger. And then we also could see some pretty strong wind, 75 miles per hour or more. Remember, with straight line wind, severe level wind is 58 miles per hour or more. That technically makes a storm severe. So the Storm Prediction Center is saying we could have some pretty nasty storms there tomorrow that could produce some even bigger gusts than that. And then we've got Friday. Now, Friday is getting a lot of attention because it's a level 3 risk. So, if you had to pick a day between tonight, tomorrow, and Friday, which is going to be the most significant, widespread amount of severe weather that we're going to see, I would say it's probably going to be Friday. That's when the main piece of energy really kicks through. And again, I'll show you that here in just a second. But all modes of severe weather will be possible on Friday. It's a little bit far out right now. When you're a couple days out like this, it's a little bit tougher to really hone in on whether the top threat's going to be hail. Is it going to be straight line wind? Is it going to be tornadoes? I think everything's on the table. But tomorrow they'll have a much better idea, the Storm Prediction Center, of which areas could see what. But I do think it's going to be pretty widespread. Some of the forecast models right now are showing some kind of line of storms developing, which could have some spin-up tornadoes within it. But if we did get a linear mode, as we call it, like that line of storms, a long line of storms, then there would be a pretty widespread area that would see some damaging wind along that line.